Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Civics second year class. So yesterday we have started with short answers. We have discussed from chapter 1. Today we will discuss short answers from your third chapter. Okay, that is Union Government. The first question is write about election of vice president and his functions. So here the question is divided into two parts. In first part it is asking you to write about how vice president is elected and what are his functions in the second part. So let us start with this. So vice president is the second highest authority in India. See, the first citizen of India is president. He is the highest authority. After him, at second position, we have vice president. So only citizen of India, only the citizens of India who are above the age of 35 years, they are eligible to become vice president. Okay, to become the vice president, the person should be the citizen of India. He should be above 35 years of age and he shall possess the qualification to become the member of Rajya Sabha. Okay, whatever qualification is required to become the member of Rajya Sabha, the person who is contesting for the post of vice president, he should possess that qualification. Okay, then how is he elected? The vice president is elected by the members of both the houses of the parliament, that is Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Only the members of parliament will elect the vice president, and the method of election is proportional representation of single transferable vote. Vice president, he is indirectly elected. People, they don't elect the vice president. It is the representatives of the people, that is the members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and that too elected members, not the nominated one. Elected members, they vote for vice president. Okay. Now coming to the second part of the question, that is powers and functions of the vice president. See, vice president, he performs only two functions, or he has only two powers. The first is he is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. He is the chairman of Rajya Sabha and he can act as president. He can be an acting president. So as a chairman of Rajya Sabha, he will conduct the meetings of Rajya Sabha. He will exercise or cast his vote if the votes are equally divided over a bill. Only when the votes are equally divided over a bill, the vice president can cast his vote, can give his vote. Otherwise, he need not vote. Okay. Then, acting as a president, the vice president, he becomes president when there is vacancy to the position of president. Vacancy due to death, removal or resignation. Okay, if president dies or president is removed or president resigns, the vice president will act as president and he will receive all the benefits, salaries of the president during that period. And vice president can hold the office of president for not more than 6 months. Within 6 months, new president has to be elected. Okay, simple answer. Vice president, how is he elected? What are his functions? He is elected by the members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The method of election is proportional representation of single transferable vote. He performs two functions. One is he is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. As the chairman of Rajya Sabha, he conducts the meetings of Rajya Sabha. He can cast his vote when the votes are equally divided over. As a president, he acts as a president when there is vacancy to the position due to death, removal or resignation. He receives the salary of the president during that period and he will hold the position for not more than 6 months. Simple answer. If you are writing like this, you can get 5 on 5. Very simple answer. And last in March it was asked. Next is functions, same chapter, functions of the speaker. This can be asked again. An important question. So, explain the functions of Speaker of Lok Sabha. So, before explaining his functions, we should know how the Speaker is elected. The members of Lok Sabha elect the Speaker among themselves. The members of the Lok Sabha will elect the Speaker from among themselves. Usually, the Speaker belongs to majority party. Okay, the party which has majority in the house, the Speaker belongs to the same party. Mostly it is like that. And he acts as non-partisan person. Once he assumes the office, once he becomes the Speaker, he will act as non-partisan. Okay. And he exercises the following functions. What are his functions? He presides over or he conducts the meetings of Lok Sabha. He allows the members to ask questions. He allots time for the members to introduce and speak about resolutions or bills. Okay, and he will appoint the chairman of several parliamentary committees. No member can address the house without his permission. He preserves the order in the house. It is his responsibility to maintain discipline and decorum of the house. And he can suspend, if any member is violating the rules of the house, the speaker can suspend that member. He casts his vote, he exercises his vote when there is a tie over a bill. When the votes are equally divided, then the speaker can cast his vote. Otherwise, he need not cast the vote. Same functions are performed by the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Then he presides over the joint session of the parliament. When there is deadlock over a bill, okay, when there is deadlock over a bill, the president will call for the joint session, and the joint session is conducted or presided over by the speaker. And it is the speaker who decides the bill, whether it is a money bill or an ordinary bill. What type of bill is it? That is decided by the speaker. Okay, simple question for 5 marks. Next, coming to your 4th chapter, that is state government. You will get one question out of these 2 for sure. No, governor or chief minister. They ask either governor or the chief minister. Let us see the powers and functions of the state governor. State governor, he is the constitutional head of the state government. He is the head of the state government according to the constitution. And governor is appointed by the president. The governor is appointed by the president. So his powers, we can see, he has got legislative powers. Okay, governor, he is the part of legislature. Okay, when the bills are passed by the legislature, governor has to approve those bills. So he arranges the meetings of both the houses, same as president. And he can dissolve the lower house, that is legislative assembly. The governor can dissolve the lower house, that is legislative assembly. He can nominate one Anglo member to the assembly and 1/6 members of the state legislative council. Okay. So when a bill is approved by the governor, it will become a law. That is the legislative power, role of governor in lawmaking. Then executive power. Okay, so under executive power, governor, he appoints, he makes some appointments. To whom does he appoint? He appoints the chief minister and all his ministers He appoints the heads of the universities. We call them as vice chancellors of the universities in the state, and chairmen and members of various commissions of the state, like state election commission, state finance commission, state public service commission. The members and the chairmen are appointed by the governor. So under executive powers, he is making all the appointments. Next is financial power. Okay, so he gives permission to introduce money bill and the budget in the state legislature, and he maintains or operates contingency funds of the state, okay, to meet unforeseen situations, to meet the financial crisis. Okay, he can use contingency funds. Okay, that is his financial power. The next is judicial power. See, the judges of High Court, they are appointed by the president, but the governor is consulted while appointing the judges of the High Court and the District Court. And the governor has the power to reduce or cancel the punishments of the criminals. Okay, then comes the discretionary powers. We have discussed this discretionary powers of governor for 2 marks. Under discretionary powers, governor will not take advice from anybody. He exercises all his powers without the advice of chief minister and council of ministers. So what are the discretionary powers? When he is appointing the chief minister, he does not discuss with anybody, or he does not take the advice of anybody. Then when he is requesting the president to impose constitutional emergency or president's rule, when president rule is imposed, the governor will request the president to impose president's rule. He will not discuss or take advice of anybody. And refusing to give assent to the bills passed by the legislature. The governor can refuse to approve the bills which are passed by the legislature. So these are the discretionary powers of the governor. I hope governor answer is clear to you. Same answer, making small changes, you can write to the powers and functions of the president. Okay, making small changes, like governor is the constitutional head of the state government. Here the president, instead of governor, you will write president, is the constitutional head of the country, of the state, only state, not state government. Okay, only state. Just make that changes. He is appointed by the president. No, the president is elected. Okay, here you need to make the changes. The president is elected. Then coming to the powers, he is a part of parliament. Instead of the state legislature, parliament. He arranges meetings of both the house of the parliament. He can dissolve the lower house, Lok Sabha. Okay, then directly you can come here. Here this is abolished. Now he does not appoint any Anglo-Indian. So here he nominates 12 members to Rajya Sabha. A bill will become an act only after the approval of the president. Just change the words. Okay, half of the answer you can write. Governor, president. The powers which are enjoyed by the president at the central level, same powers are enjoyed by the governor at the state level. Just make minor changes in it. With same executive powers, he appoints the prime minister and all the ministers, vice chancellors of the central universities. Okay, instead of state, it is central universities. Chairman and various commissions. Okay, like Central Finance Commission, Central Election Commission, Union Public Service Commission, like that. Coming to the financial powers, President gives permission to introduce money bill and annual budget in the Lok Sabha. He maintains contingency funds of India. Okay. The judicial powers. Okay. So he appoints. Here you have. This you need to change. The President appoints the judges of Supreme Court and High Court. Okay. And he has power to reduce and cancel the punishment given to the criminals. Under discretionary powers, he enjoys these powers without the advice of the Prime Minister. He appoints Prime Minister. Okay. Then this is not required. He can refuse to give assent to the bills passed by the Parliament. Okay. This 5 points, half of the answer you can write like this, making small changes in the answer. Okay. When you are thorough with president, you can write governor. When you are thorough with governor, you can attempt the president's answer. And president, he enjoys some emergency powers which governor does not have. Next question is, explain the powers and functions of the chief minister. Okay, so chief minister, he is the real executive head of the state government. So what are his functions? Formation of ministry. The party which secures majority in the assembly, the leader of that party is appointed as the chief minister by the governor of that state. So after getting appointed, the chief minister will select his ministers and allots them the departments. Okay, so he can include or remove the ministers from his cabinet. If they are not performing, he can remove them. If he wants more ministers, he can, include them. The next is presides over the cabinet meetings. Okay, so he will conduct the meetings of the cabinet. He decides the agenda of those meetings, why that meeting has been conducted. The agenda is decided. Then he is the link between the governor and council of ministers. Okay, so whatever decisions are taken in the cabinet meeting, he will inform that to the governor. And if governor wants to give any suggestions, he will take those suggestions. Okay, so he is the link between the governor and the council of ministers. Then he is the chief spokesman. Okay, all the important decisions of the government are given by him, announced by him, or he announces all the important decisions. His speeches inside and outside the legislature are considered very important. Then he is the leader of legislative assembly. Chief minister is the leader of legislative assembly. He informs all the decisions of the cabinet to the legislature. Okay, as the leader of the majority party in the assembly, it is his responsible to inform all the decisions taken by the cabinet in the cabinet meetings. Okay, that he has to inform to the legislature, and he will take the support of legislature in implementing the policies of the government. And he is the leader of the people. Chief minister is the most important leader in the state. He visits the people to find their problems and take steps to resolve them. He is the chief advisor to the governor. Okay, he advises the governor and he plays an important role in maintaining union-state relations. So, here, same answer if you are learning and making minor changes in it, the answer of Prime Minister will be ready for you. So, for example, here, just see, in place of Chief Minister, it is Prime Minister. Prime Minister is the real executive of the union government. Okay, Prime Minister performs various functions. Formation of ministry. He selects all his ministers and he allots portfolios. He can include and remove the ministers from his cabinet. He presides over the cabinet meetings. The Prime Minister, he conducts the cabinet meetings and decides the agenda of the meetings. He is the link between the president. He is the link between the president and council of ministers. So the Prime Minister acts as the main link between the president and the council of ministers. He informs the decisions of cabinet to president and suggestions given by the president to cabinet. Okay, he is the chief spokesman. Okay, the Prime Minister is the chief spokesman. He announces all the important decisions of the government. His speeches inside and outside the legislature, you can say parliament also. Inside and outside the parliament are considered very important. He is the leader of parliament. He is the leader of the parliament. Prime Minister as the leader of the parliament informs the decisions of the cabinet to the parliament, and he takes support of the parliament in implementing the government policies. He is the leader of the people. Okay, that you can explain. He represents the country in other countries, and he is the chief advisor to the president. This is not required. He is the leader of the people. The Prime Minister is the most important leader of the nation. Instead of leader of the people, you can say he is the leader of the nation. So, like making small changes, you can write this answer for Prime Minister. So, when you are learning governor, you are learning about president, or when you are learning president, you can make changes and write about president. Similarly, Prime Minister and Chief Minister, they perform same functions. The only difference is they are at central level and Chief Minister and Governor are at the state level. That's it. Next is explain the structure of Legislative Council. Now, Legislative Council, it is the upper house of the state legislature. The Legislative Council is the upper house of the state legislature. Only 6 states in India have Legislative Council. Okay. Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, Bihar, Odisha and Telangana. These are the 6 states which have this Legislative Council, the upper house. Okay. The total membership of Legislative Council cannot be less than 40. The minimum strength of the Legislative Council is 40. Minimum it should be 40, and it should not be more than 1/3 of the total members. Suppose if members of Legislative Assembly, for example, if the Legislative Assembly, it has 100 members, then 1/3 of 100 will be 30. So, no, the minimum it should be 40. Minimum it should be 40. Suppose the total strength of assembly is 150. Okay, then 1/3 will be 50. The strength of council should be 50, not more than 50, whichever is more. Okay, either 40 or the 1/3, whichever is more, that is the strength of Legislative Council. Minimum 40, maximum 1/3 of the total members of assembly, not more than 1/3 of the total members. Like I told you just now, if the assembly has 100 members, okay, 1/3 will be 30. So 30 is less than 40, so it can't be 30. If the assembly has 150 members, 1/3 will be 50. 50 is more than 40. So here 50 will be the strength. In this case, the strength will be 40. Okay. Next is how the members of Legislative Council elected. What is the structure? So 1/3 members, they are elected by local government like municipal corporations and municipalities. Okay, municipal corporations and municipalities will elect 1/3 members. 1/3 members, they are elected by MLAs, members of legislative assemblies. Then 1/6 members, they are nominated by the governor. And 1/12 members, they are elected by the university graduates in that state. And 1/12 members, they are elected by senior secondary school teachers having experience of minimum 3 years. And they will elect one chairman and deputy chairman who will conduct the meetings among themselves. This deputy chairman and chairman is elected among themselves. Okay, so this is the structure of Legislative Council. Simple question, very easy. See, don't see the length of the question. Mostly what students do, they see the length of the question. Oh, this answer is so lengthy, I can't learn. You are giving a negative signal to your mind that you can't learn, saying that it is too lengthy. Give a positive signal, say it is very small answer, it's a very simple answer, I can learn this answer. Give a positive signal to your mind, definitely you will learn the answer. And don't mug up the answer, don't by heart the answer. Try to understand the answer. Understand and write it. Okay. Next is explain the powers and functions of High Court. What are the powers and functions of High Court? Again, if you know High Court, you can easily write Supreme Court, or if you know Supreme Court, you can write High Court. Simple answers. Now, High Court is the highest court of justice at state level. At present, we have 24 High Courts. So, what are the powers and functions of High Court? Original jurisdiction. So, in High Court enjoys original jurisdictions in the cases related to law and order, marriage and divorce. Okay, and it protects the fundamental rights of the people by issuing writs. Writs means orders. Then you have appellate jurisdiction. It hears cases coming from district courts, both civil as well as criminal cases. Then court of record. The judgments or decisions taken by the High Court, they are recorded and used as guidelines in future cases. Power to declare any law made by the legislature as invalid if it is against the Constitution. Then administrative function. High Court makes rules and regulations for the administration of the subordinate courts. It can transfer cases from one court to another court. It has power to appoint subordinate courts and decide their salaries. Okay, so if you see the first 4 points here, same 4 points you can write for Supreme Court, making small changes. In introduction, you can say Supreme Court is the highest post of justice in India. Okay, it has, you need not write, there are 24 High Courts. It has 1 Chief Justice and 30 other judges. Okay, it is in Delhi. You can write the location. Next is under original jurisdiction. Supreme Court enjoys original jurisdictions in cases related to the conflict between the governments, central government and state governments, central government and some states on one side and other states on other side, or conflicts between the state governments. Then it protects the rights of the people by issuing writs. So this point, you change this point. Okay, just learn that point. Then appellate jurisdiction case, here the cases coming from High Court. It takes civil and criminal cases both. It acts as court of record. All the judgments are recorded for the future cases. Supreme Court has power to declare any law made by the Parliament as invalid if it is against the Constitution. So, similar, making small changes. You can learn the answers. Next, fifth chapter, the important chapter. In this chapter, you have 5 SAQs. 5 SAQs. Out of this 5, you will get 2 in your exam for sure. Okay. 2 questions are for sure out of the 5 questions. So mostly they will ask, you have 5 questions means you have 3 relations and 2 commissions. 3 relations and 2 commissions. 3 relations, that is legislative relations, financial relations and administrative relations. And 2 commissions are your Sarkariya Commission and MM Punshi Commission. So you will get 2 questions, na? So 1 from relations, 1 from commission. 1 relation and 1 commission you can expect. Sometimes they'll ask you 2 relations also. Okay, so if you're learning these 5 questions, you will be able to attempt your paper for another 10 marks. So the first question is, what are the legislative relations between union and the state? Legislative relations means law-making relations. Okay, so these law-making relations, they are divided into 3 lists: union list, state list and concurrent list. Okay, under union list, you have subjects which are of national importance. Parliament will make the laws on those subjects. There are 99 subjects in union list. Example, defense, railways, banking, insurance, all those are the subjects included in the union list. Only Parliament will make the laws on the subjects included in the union list. Under state list, the subjects which are of regional importance. Okay, you have subjects which are of regional importance in the state list. State legislature will make laws on the subjects in this list. You have 61 subjects here: police, health, agriculture, etc. And the laws made by the state legislature, they are applicable in that particular state. In union list, if you see, the laws made by the Parliament are applicable throughout the country. Okay, throughout the country the laws are applicable. That is the laws made by the Parliament. But if the laws are made by the state legislature, they are applicable in that particular state. Okay, now coming to your concurrent list, both union government and state government can make laws on these subjects. There are 52 subjects like education, marriage, divorce, etc. If both the governments are making law on the same subject at a time, then the laws made by the union are implemented. Okay. Then you have residuary powers. So the subjects which are not included in the 3 lists, that is union list, state list and concurrent list, those items are in residuary powers, and only Parliament will make the laws on those subjects. Example, software and hardware. This is about your legislative relations between union and state. About 3 lists if you are writing. Okay, you are learning this, union list, state list, concurrent list and residuary powers in 2 marks. Same thing if you write, your legislative relations are over. Okay, don't learn the same thing again and again. Why I am repeating these questions? Because these are most important, most repeated questions. Next is administrative relations between union and state. Basically, both central and state government, they work independently. In the administrative matters, if you see, they work independently. State government cannot interfere in the matters of central government. But under special conditions, central government can interfere in the administrative matters of the state government. Okay, both they work independently. Okay, state cannot interfere in the matters of central government, but central government can interfere in the matters of state government under certain conditions, under some conditions. Like for example, the president is a part of central government, but he is appointing, transferring or removing the governor of the state. Okay, the president, he can appoint, transfer or remove the governor of the state. Now, the president can veto. Veto means to reject. Okay, the bills passed by the state legislature. Actually, the governor has the power to approve the bills passed by the legislature. But sometimes governor can refer the bills to the president. Governor can refer the bills to the president, and the president has the power to reject those bills. Okay, then president can declare constitutional emergency. If the governor of the state reports him that there is constitutional breakdown in the state, then the president can declare constitutional emergency. So when there is constitutional emergency, the legislative and executive powers of the state government are transferred to the union government. Okay, so in case of emergencies, in case of national emergency, the federation becomes unitary. Okay, so all the powers of state governments will be transferred to the central government. So the federation, it becomes unitary. The union has power to give directions to the state for construction of transport and communication facilities for the maintenance of military. Military defense, it is the responsibility of central government. Defense is the responsibility of central government, but that military is protecting the states. It is the responsibility of the state government to provide communication and transport facilities. Now, if president wants, he can give some of the executive functions of the union government to the state government. And it is the responsibility of the state government to protect the property of the union government in their state. Okay, the president is empowered to establish interstate council, and Rajya Sabha is empowered to abolish all India services. So like this, both central and state government, they function. Okay. Next is financial relations between union and the state. What are the financial relations between union and the state? So we know we pay taxes to the government, and the tax money is used by the government for our welfare. So Constitution has clearly provided how the tax money should be used. Okay, which government will collect which tax and how it is going to use it to avoid dispute between the center and the state. To avoid dispute between the center and the state in the matters of finances, in financial matters. Okay, the first one is taxes levied by the center. That means here levied means imposed. Okay, the word levied means imposed. If you can't remember levied, you can write imposed. No problem at all. So here taxes levied by center means only central government has the power to impose some taxes like your customs and excise duty, income tax. central government will decide it. It will impose it. Next is taxes levied or imposed and used by the state. Here the taxes are imposed by the state government and it is used by the state government. Only state government has power on such things like vehicle tax. When you buy a vehicle, you pay registration charges and all that you are paying to the state government. Tax on estate duty when you are buying property. You are getting your property registered. The registration charges you are paying to the state government. State government will determine how much you should pay for the registration. Okay, when taxes levied or imposed by the union but collected and used by the state. Okay, and third, what are we saying? The taxes are imposed by the central government, but the tax money is collected and used by the state government. Okay, so like you have, when you buy stamp, when you pay stamp duties or when you buy promissory notes. Okay, so the money is, the tax is imposed by the central government, but that is collected by the state and used by the state. And taxes imposed and collected by union but given to the state. Here what's happening? The taxes imposed by the union government. The union government is collecting the tax, imposing and collecting, but it is giving that money to the state. Okay, like railway fares of the goods. When you send goods through railways, what are the charges you are paying to the railways? That is collected by the union government, then it is given to the state government. Terminal taxes at toll booths. Okay, when you go from one state to another state, you have to pay toll tax. Okay, that is terminal tax we say. That is also imposed by the central government but collected by the central government and then it is returned to the state government. Taxes imposed and collected by union but distributed between union and states. So here the tax is imposed and collected by the union and that is distributed between both the governments, union government and the state government. Okay, example, tax on income, your income tax other than agriculture. Okay, when you are paying tax on agricultural land, that you are paying to the state government, but when you are paying income tax other than agriculture, that is you are paying to the central government and that money is divided between the center and the state. Medicinal preparations. Okay, then you have union aid to grant. So grant in aids, here we say grants in aid. So to meet the extra expenditure, the central government can give grants or help the state government financially. That is grants in aid. Then union power to borrow loans. The union government can borrow loans from the international organizations like World Bank, okay, and other countries, but state government cannot borrow from other countries. And when there is financial emergency, the financial powers of the state are transferred to the union government. So this is financial relations between union and the state. You will get one relation for sure, either financial, administrative or legislative relations. So learn these three questions. From this chapter, you are getting 2 SAQs. Okay. So with this, I'll conclude my today's session. We'll continue tomorrow. Thank you very much.